I was, yes. First time ever. I thought I was going to die. Like a steam engine.
How are you doing, Doug?
How you doing? Good. You read that?
Well, it has about what we're talking about tonight.
Journalistic qualities of lithium.
It's a gossip paper. Come on. You know, you got to look at it. Tells you what's going on in town.
Well,
some days
it gives you a narrative of what's going
well, that's true.
on.
It tells you who was in an automobile accident, who had something happen, who had 911 calls. You know, and if you know anybody, then you know.
Look at you. I'm telling you.
I know I was going to say, we get a replacement.
What? Yeah, the problem. Who are you trying to buy off with peanuts?
I have HR.
How you doing, John?
You know what? 14-year-old whippersnapper. There you go. Look at you. Open the old man.
Who are you looking for? I'm good. Oh, okay.
I'm like a buck 10.
Huh?
I'm like a buck 10.
That's Mayor
How you doing, sir?
How you
Doing
doing?
good. Don't get up.
Oh,
Good to
I've never
see
seen
you.
Dan sit down. Gotta get that a long time.
Yeah, feeling better?
Well, you'll get some
Tanner?
where you will learn to do that.
I know she canceled the meeting.
I'm hoping we don't get to that point, Brad. I'm hoping we don't get to that.
No, I'm thinking I will get to that point. I'm 67, so,
Oh, you know, I'll take that. Ain't disturbing. That man, even when I get out,
He was the typical candidate in my WSSI class, college football.
like that.
I was the guy that never swam more than 200 yards in my life.
That makes
I had to
sense.
pass a screening
yeah.
test.
My grandfather, I
They
remember
said
he was
500 yards.
96. I went looking for him to his house.
I wasn't
in his
young
house. I came
Never would have been. I was negative 40.
Was you out of what?
I stopped and I rode the bike.
Yeah, I got around.
You too?
But
Negative
he
40.
wasn't born.
I was telling him, telling your son, I said,
They're gonna take 50 minutes tonight. Hello, bud.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
You all right?
What, you think I'm gonna get all angry?
Why would you do that?
Yeah. I think they're all just for you.
blindfold. They throw you off
They'll cut it. Did you see that on
Oh,
TV?
I know it.
with the blindfold on. And they take the blindfold off. 20 minutes of ground pumping. And then you had to do, once they take your hands off, your feet are still tied. You're doing full speed water. Otherwise, process.
I was forewarned. That wasn't gonna be the case tonight.
There go there. Pushing you right out. Uh-oh. I better go. Get to work, she said.
That's a great dog.
Just make sure, because that's what you said, you might see something. So the only two.
How you doing, Bill? You're fine. Good to see you. I'm good.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we got about 2 minutes before we get started. So I've got a cell phone around here somewhere. So if you guys would pull out your cell phones and join me in turning it to silent, off, sleep. Like I have to do all of that with my phone or it will figure out a way to vibrate, ring, or something. So if y'all would join me in doing that, we'll get started in a few minutes here. When we have a lot of good, meaty material to talk about, there's a tendency to have sidebars where we got two people talking together. And so if you're having a sidebar, I'm going to encourage you to take it out in the hallway. Shut the doors behind you so we don't hear it. And then whatever you have, you can share with us in the microphone during the public session time. So if y'all could help me with that, because it's hard for everybody to hear, and we want everybody to be able to hear, okay? And so when we get the sidebars going, it makes that difficult. So in a minute, we'll open up in prayer, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll get the meeting started, okay? If everybody please rise. And if you could remove your cover, please. Father in heaven, we give you the praise and the glory for tonight. Thank you for all the folks that are in this room. Old, young, little, small, big. Lord, we thank you for all of them. We thank you for our small town that we have and the things that we get to partake in, whether it's just having good people to shake hands with and tell a joke with, or waterfront, or great restaurants, or, Lord, we just have so much that you have blessed us with in this town of Swansboro. So we thank you for that. I pray for wisdom for the commissioners tonight as they make their votes, as we go through the different decisions. And we just ask that we honor you well tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, with that, we'll move into public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for the first slot? All right, so I have one person signed up, but they would like to move that to the public hearing section. Anybody else like to speak? All right, hearing none, we'll close the public comment. We have the adoption of the agenda and consent items. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
With the board's approval, I would like to move the Charleston Park Street acceptance to be the last item, or be the first item perhaps. Well, we can do it either way, but I'd like to move it to item 6 and either be first or last, or first in item 6 is, well, it's in item 6, so I'm sorry. So I'd like to move it up to the first slot in item 6, or before we get into our administrative items of item 6. Is the board okay with that? First item of item 6, everybody okay with that?
I move to do that.
Okay, all right, so with that one change, so we have a second on the floor. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll second.
Got a second already. Do we have any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, very good. And look at your neighbor and say, man, you look good tonight. Come on, look at your neighbor, tell him you look good tonight. All right.
Like, thank God he's sitting down there.
You got up and left.
See, nobody told me, see, I got over here now, nobody told me I look good, so now I'm kind of sad.
Look great, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. All right, well, I want to brag on the board real quick because we've been able to change the way that we've done some things, and we're getting more where we can recognize people in our community, and I'm very excited about that. So I just want to say thank you to the board for allowing that, because I think it's very important that we're recognizing our folks in the board, or our folks in the community. And so it is my privilege to ask up Mr. Trevor Hogan. Did I say that correctly? Hukel. All right. Well, come on up, Mr. Trevor. And we're going to invite Coach up in a minute. So there's something else he wants to present to you. Now, I was going to present it to you, and then he said I can't present it. I'm a little upset that he won't let me present it, but that's okay. But we're excited about your success in swimming. So you got state, so if y'all can't see the shirt, state champion for swimming. And what event was it?
100 breaststroke.
100 breaststroke. How fast are you doing it?
59.73.
Wow. That's moving pretty fast for breaststroke. Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And we're glad you're here with us tonight. And it's my privilege to read this proclamation for you, okay? And whereas the pursuit of excellence in athletic competition not only showcases individual talent, but also fosters community spirit, unity, and pride. And whereas Trevor Hukel, is that correct? Yes, sir. All right. A distinguished student athlete of Swansboro High School. Did you get Dr. Gross to write this? You're doing pretty good here. Has achieved remarkable success in the realm of swimming, exemplifying dedication, perseverance, and exceptional skill. And whereas at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 3A Swimming and diving state championships held at Triangle Aquatic Center in Cary, Trevor Huckel delivered an outstanding performance in the 100-yard breaststroke, securing his place as a state champion. And whereas the remarkable achievement marks a historic milestone for Swansboro High School, as Trevor Huckel becomes the first swimmer ever from the institution to win a state championship, setting a precedent of excellence and inspiring future generations of athletes and setting a school record time of 59.43. Got it wrong? What is it supposed to be?
No, that's right. I got it wrong.
So you were faster or slower?
That's faster.
That's faster. That's a good thing that you got it wrong.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay, all right. Very good. Well, we'll keep going then. Whereas Trevor Huckel, dedication to his sport and his ability to excel at the highest level of competition serves as a testament to his hard work, discipline, and unwavering support of his coaches, family, and Swansboro community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on this 26th day of 2024 of March, the town of Swansboro commissioners celebrate and honor Trevor Huckel for his exceptional achievement in winning the 100-yard breaststroke at the North Carolina High School Swimming Athletic, High School Athletic Association 3A Swimming and Diving State Championships. We recognize Trevor's hard work, dedication, and historic victory as a source of pride for Swansboro High School and the entire community. I hereunto set my hand and cause and seal the time affixed to this 26th day of March 2024. I got to sign that on your behalf, and I'm going to go one more step, and we're going to declare, and I would like the record to state this, that for March 26th from here on out will be your day as our state champion. Come back on over here, and we'll bring Coach. Come on up, Coach. Now, Coach, do you need this? Okay.
I can talk long if I go there. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scott Evans, and I am privileged and blessed to have Trevor as one of the swimmers on the Swansboro swim team. I've been there for 12 years. He is breaking records every minute and every time he swims, even breaking his own record in some cases. Anyway, this is interesting because the timeline just didn't quite work out. We had our banquet on the 10th of March and got the whole banquet done. And Trevor said something to me about, hey, did the other coaches vote for swimmer of the conference? I mean, swimmer of the year, swimmer of the year in swimming. I said, hey, I don't know. So happens that vote from the athletic directors and the coaches from around our conference was taken on March the 12th. So then I thought, on the 13th, I was handed this award. I said, oh, man. I'm going to hand it to him in the hallway one day. I'll call his parents. I'll stop at the house. That won't be very special. And then somebody said, hey, we're going to recognize Trevor on the 26th. And so I thought, hey, I have a few people here. This will be a great thing. So it's the way this thing works is that every coach is allowed to vote for 2 outstanding swimmers, boys and girls. There's also Coach of the Year, women and men. But for Swimmer of the Year, everybody gets to vote. And then the athletic directors take our votes, and then they sit down and decide. You can't find a better individual to have been assigned or to receive this award. We're talking about, thank you, the 3A Coastal Conference Championship includes Croatan, Dixon, Swansboro, West Carteret, White Oak, and Richlands. That's our 3A Eastern Conference group of teams. And when you get an award for being the top swimmer, and you got kids from Croatan and West Carteret in the voting because they are fast. There's no joke about how good they are. But you get lucky enough every once in a while to get one of these. This is our second one for Swansboro, if I remember correctly. One went to Grant Meadows a couple of years ago, and now all of Grant Meadows' records are being broken by this individual. So it is my pleasure to present to Trevor the Coastal 3A Conference Swimmer of the Year, Men's Swimming 23-24.
Trevor, this is the list of all the good things you've done.
Done.
Thank you. Oh, and your proclamation. I'll give that to Mom. Thank you, Pat. All right, Chief, I'm going to skip you, come right back to you while I'm up here with the microphone. So, Chief Taylor, would you join me? And if you would introduce our new officer, please.
If I could, first, Mr. Mayor, Trevor, as a student athlete graduate at Swansboro High School, congratulations. Makes me proud to see students doing that at Swansboro. And 59 seconds in a 100-meter breaststroke, I don't think I can run it that fast anymore either. But at this time, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce Daniel Wilson. Please come to the front. You can bring your parents. Mr. Wilson, come on up. He is, at this point, he is police officer candidate Daniel Wilson. And he as well as a graduate of Swansboro High School, he graduated in 2020. I'm very proud to have him on our force, and he's excited to start with our program and serve in the town that he grew up in. So without further ado, let's make him probationary officer Daniel Wilson, Mr. Mayor.
All right, well,
Let's turn around.
would you like us, everybody can see? Get this, all right. And I'll shake your hand at the beginning. If I get going too fast, just say, sir, can you slow down? And we'll slow down. And, yeah, right in, left, yeah, there you go. Is that right? Help us out here. I think we got it reversed, huh? There we go. There you go. I thought we had that mixed up a little bit. Did you want Mom up? Did you want Mom here? Come on up, Mom. All right, here we go. I'm going to say I, and then you state your name, okay? I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice, that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a police officer according to the best of my skills, abilities, and judgment. So help me God. Welcome to the force. Yeah, we need that badge. We'll get put that on the next one. All right, now we're going to pin you, okay? Hold that for you so you can get it. He hasn't gone out yet, so far you're good. Thank you. No tickets for the mayor, please. I'm going to ask, our whole police, a lot of our police department is here. I'm going to ask them to stand up. They do a tremendous job for our town. So if you're in the Swansboro Police Department or in the student program, please stand up. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate y'all. I know, and I'll say this to the fire personnel as well. We know you guys don't want to be seen or heard or spoken to and be told that you're heroes, but you are. And I continue to brag on these folks that they have not had to discharge a firearm at a human being in the history that I've been in the town. And I forget, I think somebody told me maybe in the 70s is the last time that we've had to fire discharge a weapon. And that is a very powerful statement about our police force and how they handle business and how they conduct themselves. So thank you for the work and that y'all do. It's excellent. All right, Chief.
Mayor, Commissioners, citizens, community risk reduction programs are crucial to enhancing public safety and resilience, and these initiatives aim to identify, assess, and mitigate risk within communities, fostering a safer environment for residents. The effectiveness of the educational delivery is fundamental to the overall success of our community risk reduction and fire prevention efforts. Through numerous avenues of community involvement, the town of Swansboro Fire Department is enhancing our community risk reduction efforts, putting not only 2, but 4 new boots on the ground. I'm pleased to introduce Riggs. He's the newest team member that we have. Riggs, as he likes to be called, may not be your typical hire, but his enthusiasm, dedication, and unique skill set undoubtedly made him the best candidate for the job. Riggs is a 3-year-old chocolate lab that we actually had the opportunity to rescue. And through Bayshore Animal Hospital, their new vet in town, we've secured vet care, a gracious family that has offered to take care of everything else, and then we have some grant funding for his training. So he's going to begin training. He'll be able to do stop, drop, and roll. He'll be able to feel the door for heat, hit his nose for a smoke alarm so that we can get more interaction with the children. Because one life that we're able to touch through fire prevention is potentially one life saved. So while we rescued him, he's going to save a lot of people. So, welcome, Riggs. Yep. We were notified on March 12th of 2024 that we were one of 10 agencies, not locally, not at the state level, and not in the nation, but internationally, to be selected for and by the Center for Public Safety Excellence to participate in a beta testing for their Community Risk Assessment and Standards of Cover program. The community risk assessment will utilize the data of the district and establish standards to identify service shortfalls, gaps in coverage. And then our standard of cover is a document that we'll draft to identify plans to address these shortfalls and the gaps, and providing a foundation for continuous assessment. The CRA and SOC documents are part of the accreditation process, and this newly developed program is to establish a manual and a standard to help not only our agency, but future agencies to seek a CRA SOC certificate program. So we're in the program with, it's currently 6 right now. They're going to do 4 at the end of the year, but we're in there with Clayton, North Carolina, an agency from California, an agency from Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Canada to go through this. So no cost. We're not committed to anything. It's just work on our end, getting the data, which we were already doing. We're just going to formulate it into a document. We'll be one of the first 12 agencies to actually hold this certificate whenever we successfully complete it. Just bringing that to y'all's attention that we had received that notification.
Well, very good. Chief, if your team, I believe some of your team is here, if they'd stand up and let's acknowledge our fire department as well. Thank you, guys. And Chief, well done. I really appreciate the energy and the focus that you've brought to our fire department, and seeing a lot of these good things come to the town of Swansboro is I'm proud to say you're my fire chief.
Well, thank you.
Sir.
The 1 year of being here has flown by, so thank y'all for this opportunity.
Did you get off probation? Oh, John, we didn't talk. Oh, man. All right, Miss Andrea Carell. So, folks, we are very blessed to have Andrea Carell. About 18 months ago, I called her, maybe a little over 18 months ago. I said, hey, will you come back? She said, I'll come back for 2 years. And she's going to be cutting me shy a little bit of 2 years. But we got a big audience in here, and I wanted to make sure that you got honored in front of these folks. The work that you've done for our town and just being a blessing and helping us figure out some of the hard things that we have to figure out for such a small town. We appreciate you, Andrea.
Thank you.
And this will probably happen more than just this tonight, but we're thankful for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. With that, I'm going to let you talk first, and then give the board a chance for questions for you. And then I'll open up the public hearing when they're done, and then close the public hearing, and then open up for board discussion. Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So I'm turning it over to you.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board of Commissioners. So in my memory, in my second tour of duty and my first tour of duty with Swansboro, this is our first conditional rezoning. The purpose of a conditional rezoning is to give grassroots opportunity for input. So Stroud Engineer has worked well over a year on this project, and they are on the ball for all the requirements. So a conditional rezoning requires a community meeting to start out. Because they had to notice a mile radius of the site, I believe there were about 1,000 invitations to the community meetings, which were held in Parks and Rec on the 4th and 5th of January. We progressed from there with public input to the planning board meeting in January on the 10th. We worked through people's concerns and had added conditions, and ended up at the March meeting with 6 conditions that we recommended to you. So I think overall it was a real grassroots effort. I think one of the hardest things about change is what I call as a planner perceived open space. So when property has been in fields and you've looked at it for years but you don't own it, it's hard when it changes to something else. So I felt like the planning board did a great job in those 3 months. And our attorney also helped us with Proviso 6, which has to do with a concern on easements, and they don't apply to this zoning venue. So the same conditions that the planning board worked out are applicable to you if you decide to adopt them. In conditional rezoning, you have to have the applicant concur. So in your ordinance tonight, you have a signed example in front of it, notarized and written by the applicant accepting the 6 conditions. Should you decide to add any more conditions tonight,
Andrea, give me just 1 second. So folks, if y'all are looking for it, it's on page 39 and 40.
if you decide to add any more conditions, we will have to have the applicant owner's permission, and he is not able to come tonight, so we will have to table the case if you have to go that way. So I'm here to answer the board's questions and answer any questions that come up in the public hearing. The staff, engineering and planning staff at Stroud Engineering is on the second row behind the swimmer. And they will be glad to also respond. Does the board have any questions of me?
Joe, you good?
Good.
Okay. Bill?
No, but they followed all the procedures that they should have followed with Sandollar, I'm sure, right?
Yes, in fact, they met all the standards of the comprehensive land use plan, and they've met all the standards of the Unified Development Ordinance.
The only concern I have is the folks on Rooster Run, that road, and, I mean,
That's what condition 6 is, and our attorney wrote it. So if you have questions about the proviso, Mr. Raspberry will address your concerns. Thank you.
that's all I have.
Okay. Doug?
I know that they went by the criteria.
All right, Ms. Pat?
Question. They aren't going.
North Carolina General Statute 160D does not allow you to consider a conditional rezoning with an annexation request. So we haven't discussed that at this time because that's not what the statutes enable.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Andrea, my one concern is on item 5, and I don't know if this is a small enough change that we could do it without the principal being here, but I would feel that a 6-foot fence versus a 4-foot fence would be better in terms of hiding the ONWASO equipment and such, so I wanted to ask about that.
Well, there's some concerns about ventilation with wet well, and the reason we chose 4 was to give it more breathing room. Basically, this condition is a result of the community meeting. Captain Phillips was the one that was concerned that lived across the street, and he especially wanted a hedge. So we've discussed like variegated privet and things that grow very quickly. So those shrubs can get higher than the 4 feet.
Okay. Very good. All right, any further questions for Miss Andrea? All right, hearing none, we'll open up the public hearing and invite Mr. Andy Underseth to the microphone. And if you'd please state your name and your address, and also we acknowledge you being a former commissioner of Swansboro, and thank you for your service.
Back in the history books on that one. Andy Underseth, 110 Stillwater Drive is my residence.
Make sure you speak, the microphone.
Andy Underseth, reside at 110 Stillwater Drive. I also own the property at 170 Swansboro Loop Road, which is directly behind my house and is directly across the street from the proposed new subdivision. I know this is just a rezoning. There's a lot of steps to go here, but I will continue to come to these meetings and say how I am against this type of development in Swansboro. Cluster development, as has been told by some, is good in some areas. I just don't think it's what Swansboro needs. This has been a quaint community for many years, and having these cluster developments where you're jamming as many houses as you possibly can on a piece of property or on a lot is not the direction we need to go. There's comparisons to, as a resident of Oyster Bay, it comes up often where this subdivision compares favorably with Oyster Bay. I think anybody could ride through Oyster Bay and Swan Gate and tell there's a difference in how those areas have been developed. And now we're going to do another one again, Sand Dollar, same type of development. You have many stormwater concerns when you have all these houses, sidewalks, the streets. There's nowhere for all that water to go, and I know they're going to try to hold all that water on their property, but you know it's just not going to work. There's going to be more stormwater issues. So, again, I'm not against development. I'm not going to be naive and say we just can't grow Swansboro anymore. I know that's not going to, I'd like to see that, but I know that's not realistic. But we can grow it smart. We can be smart about how we work with the developers and not do cluster development. But they want to develop land, let the individual property owners buy the lots, build their houses. So they're not 6 or 7 different variations of the same model home built as closely together. And then they're so close together that everybody's got to put a fence up around so they can separate their yards from the neighbor. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Andy. Okay, I have nobody else signed up to speak. Laurent, did I see your hand go up? Okay, come to you next then.
So Lawrence Mayer, 220 River Reach Drive, Swansboro. So I really have a question here, and that had to do with last week's meeting as well and how it ties in with this one. So one of the things that were discussed on last week's meeting was roads and acceptance of roads within Swansboro for developments. And correct me if I'm wrong, Andrea, but does this development have state quality roads inside of it?
It will, but we're not at the preliminary plat stage, which the preliminary plat will be a major plan, and it'll have to come to the planning board and the town board and be reviewed by staff first.
Right.
So it will meet all the standards.
Okay, that was really my question to the board, really, is that given the discussion already or the mention already about acquiring it for the town at some point down the road, which I know you can't do in this meeting, but just make sure it's out there that, hey, if that's your consideration or if that's consideration down the road, make sure that it follows state guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lisa Manus, and I live on Saviston, but my family has property on the Loop Road. And I have a couple of questions, actually. If it's not annexed in, do they still pay Swansboro taxes?
No, ma'am.
So we're not going to get a tax benefit?
No, ma'am. You cannot hear a conditional rezoning and an annexation on the same meeting. It's against the state statute about conditional zoning. That does not mean they can't come back at the final plat stage to be annexed. We just can't do it tonight.
Okay.
But to answer your question, if they choose not to be annexed, then we would not receive any tax benefits.
That was my question. Okay. And the second question is, or it's actually more like a comment, but you know, we have the baseball field out there. I travel that road quite a bit. It's awfully tiny, just 2 lanes. Have you consulted with DOT or even the county schools? Because I went to one of the meetings and you all said that that's not the responsibility of the town. That would be the responsibility of the county for the schools and DOT for the roads. Have they committed to doing anything with this project?
So basically, in discussions with DOT, They have discussed upfitting the culverts along Swansboro Loop Road. The confidence interval wasn't there on timing at the planning board level. So one of our planning commissioners recommended phase 1 and phase 2 be retained within the development, not have any stormwater released into Swansboro Loop Road. Because DOT is doing that, that's great, but we just can't guarantee when. The other issue with DOT is the traffic impact analysis. There is a zoning condition for a traffic impact analysis prior to their plat, which is all their construction drawing. It will have to be led by Swansboro's traffic engineer because DOT will not consider it because Swansboro Loop only has 4,000 average daily trips a day, which is below the DOT standard for a traffic study. So any improvements required by the traffic study will be on the developments. If they need a turn lane, it'll consume their land. It won't be on the other side of the road or on anybody else's property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Ms.
Lee.
Manis. All right, anybody else for the public hearing section? Yes, sir, please.
My name is Johnny Newby. I live at 134 Rooster Run Road. This development's going
Excuse
to,
me one second. Miss Janice. Thank you, Miss Janice.
this development's going to affect me probably more than anyone else that's lives in that area. I was coming out the other day, the driveway on Rooster Run. I ran into a representative for the Army Corps of Engineers. So they were looking at the wetland right at the end of Rooster Run Road. And every time we get a rain, that whole area fills up and it stays wet. Water's standing there now. It's knee deep. It crosses Rooster Run, goes into the property next to me. Well, if they build those ponds that they want that water to perk in and the water don't perk, all that water is going to fill up and flow onto my property. My property is very wet. When we get 2 inches of rain, all that fills up. So I'm very, and I asked the Army Corps of Engineers representative, I said, can they do anything to this wetland here? It is flagged off as a wetland, pretty wide area, probably 50 to 75 feet that fills up full of water right there, just on the side of my property. And if that water comes up very high at all, when we get a lot of rain, like 5 inches, I get flooded. So the water don't perk. So if they put 2 ponds there, where I'm assuming they're going to put them, or where they showed us the probability that they would put them, that land don't perk. So the water is not going to stay on that property. It's going to overflow. It's just going to go everywhere. So I asked the lady that I talked to, the representative, and she said that, well, we got to find out where this water is going to. All these little pockets that's all in the area around Swansboro, if they go into a federal waterway, then we have jurisdiction over it so that the wetlands cannot be messed with. Well, my question is, this just happened a couple of days ago. So how do we, what do we have to say where that water's going? I mean, we don't know. If they're just now doing that thing on that, so how can you make a decision when you don't even know if the storm water's running into a federal waterway or not?
So it says in conditions that we read, required stormwater for phase 1 and phase 2 must be located within the development, not impacting the wetland, to assure stormwater is not routed to Swansboro Loop Road. So the engineers are not proposing ponds in the area delineated as a wetland. Josh is here tonight, but you're asking questions that are at the construction phase. And the Department of Natural Resources, the Corps of Engineers, and all these agencies have to review the proposal for design before it comes to the planning board and the town board for the construction drawing. So we hear you, but this isn't the right time for the details. This is the rezoning time.
I would like to say that, aren't you getting the cart before the horse?
No, sir, that's how development goes.
Well,
I appreciate you.
It's an incorrect way to do something.
All right, Mr. Newby, do you have any further comments?
No, sir, and I appreciate y'all listening to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Andre.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you, Mr. Newby. All right, last call for any public comment? Okay, public comment is closed. Public hearing is closed. All right, board members, final comments. Well, I won't say final, but any other comments or questions for Ms. Andrea? Any concerns that have been brought up that have created new questions for you? Go ahead, Ms. Pat.
Just one. Laurent,
Ms.
Jimmy.
Pat, please use microphone.
I did. Where's Laurent? There you are. Jimmy reported last week in the Tideland concerning the roads, and the comment was they will have homeowners association dues to cover the cost of street and stormwater maintenance. So I don't know if that answers your question at all or your concern. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pat. All right, hearing no other comments, I will accept a motion to approve or not approve. So you're going to need to state that, whoever makes the motion. Ordinance 2024-05 for a conditional rezoning of 27.287 acres on a parcel of land identified as tax parcel ID 019324 from agricultural residential to R20 SFCZ, single family conditional rezoning, which includes 6 required conditions to develop a cluster subdivision and the consistency statement which is provided before you.
So moved.
I need to know whether you're approving, making a motion to approve, or disapprove.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. And we have
Second.
second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I think I heard unanimous. Any opposed?
Well, aye.
Okay. All right, so it carries. Thank you. And Andy, Lawrence, Ms. Manus, and Mr. Newby, I do encourage y'all to follow this through the process. Your comments and input are important. And don't hesitate to continue to come to that microphone. I think we need to continue to hear from you through the process. All right, we're going to move into item 6, and I believe we said we're going to move Charleston Park to the first item of item 6. Is that correct? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John Barlow for a moment.
This item for your consideration is Resolution 2024-R5 to formally accept certain streets in the Charleston Park subdivision as public streets of the town of Swansboro. Let me just give you a real quick summary of background of what's going on here, how we got here, and just kind of highlight what it means if in the event that you do adopt the resolution, accept the streets from that point forward, what it means for us is, what our plans are as far as next steps. Back in October of 2009, the original developer of Charleston Park, H.M. Wilson, submitted construction plans to the town, and they were deemed acceptable. The developer went ahead and installed the streets and the other infrastructure, started to, but unfortunately did not install them in a manner that was consistent with town standards. And ultimately, the streets in particular were not accepted by the town. In those cases, that typically how it works is you would call in the surety bond of the developer, and the town would take those proceeds and install or fix or whatever it is he was constructing and make it up to town standards. Now, in this case, the developer did submit a surety bond with his plans in 2009, but unfortunately, during that time period, those bonds expired. So when the town went to realize the streets were not up to town standard, went to seek to call in the surety bond, the bond had expired and we could not do that. And that is the case we still have today. In 2011, the town board at the time adopted policy number 15, which essentially provides that substandard streets shall not be accepted by the town as public streets, and they shall remain private streets, just like those streets in Charleston Park are still today. In March, moving forward a little bit to March of '24, the town council decided that they needed to make some exceptions to policy number 15, and that is what is in your resolution for you to consider. Once you amended 15 and made it possible for unaccepted streets to be accepted into our street system, there had to be some extenuating circumstances that would allow you to make an exception. Those three exceptions are pending issues of tax equity for the owners and residents of the subdivision and possible legal claims. 2, the history of the town's development review, evaluation, approval, and enforcement process with respect to the subdivision. And 3, the substantial amount of time which has elapsed since the installation of the streets. If the board accepts those exceptions, then you would meet your new policy number 15 and you could accept those streets. Now, what it does not do in this resolution is provide a timeline or any funding mechanism. It just gives you the ability to accept those streets. In North Carolina, once we accept those streets, we have to, every year we submit a certified POW bill map to the state of North Carolina. And we have a surveyor that does that for us. And every July, we have to submit the revised POW bill map with any new streets. So that's what we would do in July. We would submit, if you did accept those streets this month, they wouldn't become part of our POW bill system until next fiscal year. So you'll note on that resolution, we have effective date June 30th, with the last day of your fiscal year. By doing that, it makes those streets eligible to become July 1st when our new fiscal year starts. By accepting, if you do accept the resolution, again, it doesn't give us any funding mechanisms, but it sets in motion a directive to the town manager to develop a plan to come up with a feasible way to make the improvements to those streets as part of the street system in the town of Swansboro. With all the other infrastructure, the streets that we do have to maintain, it'll just become part of that plan.
Okay, so 2 comments. One is I just want it for clarification. This resolution allows us to take some immediate steps to fix any safety issues, signage issues.
You could, certainly. I mean, just because it's not on the POW bill system yet, we're not getting any revenue in return. We can do anything. Once you accept them, they are your street, and we can go ahead and do it if the board
and then
authorizes us to do that.
All right, and then my second statement, okay, so, and this is just me as the mayor talking, and then hopefully it'll be us as a board talking to my folks at Charleston Park. So the 2 things. One is I'm hoping that this board votes to accept this resolution tonight. And then number 2 is get your safety issues fixed, which whether that's the holes by the sidewalks, not having a street sign up. To me, that's a safety issue. I get some new person on an EMS truck down here and they can't read your street signs to get to you. That, to me, that's a safety issue. So my goal is to get your safety issues fixed. What I don't want you to leave here believing is that we're going to come in tomorrow and do a forklift upgrade, or come in 2 years and do a forklift upgrade on your roads. We will put them, as he was mentioning, the POW bill. The POW bill is money we get from is it the state? Yeah, the state, which now your roads, which if we'd have been doing this all along, we'd have had more money to assign to your roads. But money will be actually assigned to your roads. Now, how the town uses it, it doesn't have to use it for your roads. They can use it for any roads in the town. But what we'll do is put you in the rotation, and we'll be watching your roads, and we will be looking through a plan that the manager was talking about, so that in the long term, you are now in the system, and we can repair your roads over time. and get them to where they need to be over time. I believe your developer is more than culpable for this. I do believe the town, I've said this publicly many times, the town made some mistakes that we did not keep the developer accountable. And that's unfortunate. And it's 6 years, I've been working with some of the folks here to try to get this through, and I'm hopeful that this board's going to support it tonight. But I just wanted to set the bar. I didn't want there to be expectations that you're all going to get brand new roads in the next 2 years. But I do want to set the expectation that we are going to go in and fix the safety issues and get those ASAP. That is our goal. So, board members, do you want to add anything to that?
This is like step 2 of a 4 or 5 step process on this one. That's how I interpret this as well. But this is a step in the right direction as the town is accepting responsibility somewhat to making your streets safer. Okay, and that's our commitment to you. That's what we ran on, and to remain open to you, the citizens, to bring these topics forward to us.
Bill or Joe?
Just wanted to say, I've only known about Charleston Park a short time. What I've seen over there, and what I heard from the people that I talked to, it was something that had to be addressed from my perspective. And I think you guys your community has helped us set a standard for sand dollar when sand dollar is completed. We know what's going to sand dollar is the standard, and they're going to know what the standard is, the state standard, so we can freely accept those. In the future, I want to. No, I can't say that because I'd make a public statement I shouldn't do. But I'm glad to see this is coming. You know, like I said, it's we're gonna put you in a rotation, and we're gonna get your stuff done. You know, and by God, that's good stuff.
All right, Bill, anything?
Yeah, I just want to say I think everybody's worked in the past in what they thought was the best interest of the town. It's kind of irrelevant how it happened. I mean, but the first house I went to when I was campaigning and I knocked on the first door, which John alluded to, the person told me they had the wrong sign on their court, and they were an elderly couple. And as John stated, that would create an issue if EMS had to go to that street. So, you know, you guys have been paying taxes all this time, and it's kind of irrelevant how it happened. It did happen. It's time, I think, we try to make it right. We're not trying to undermine anybody's previous efforts to do what they thought was right for the town. We're just trying to do what we think is right now.
Right. And Pat, anything?
Yeah, just one thing. I truly believe in the safety of the citizens. I just don't think that the way we did it was correct.
Okay. All right, with that, I would accept a motion to either accept or deny. So when you make the motion, please make it clear. Resolution 2024-R5 to formally accept the streets of Charleston Park subdivision as public streets in the town of Swansboro.
I make a motion that we accept it.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so we have 3 for, 1 nay. Motion carries. Charleston Park, congratulations.
We didn't do anything.
You guys, yeah.
They did.
All right, Trevor. Great job. We're proud of you. Coaches, thank you as well. Well done, guys. Well done.
Thanks for coming.
All right, so we've been going almost an hour, and I know Mr. Walsh is getting ready to speak, so we'll be here for another hour, so we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Come on.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see y'all. All right.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. We work for you guys. You work for us.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, you been doing all right?
Yeah, been doing good.
Good, good.
I like what you had to say about stopping building all these darn.
Yeah, well, I'll keep saying it, and it's falling on deaf ears, I think, but I'll keep saying it.
Now, it's
Yep.
changed so much
I
since
would,
I moved
I
here.
would
It's
not have
sad.
recognized you, but when you started talking, you sounded so.
Yeah, well.
How could you say that?
Yeah, well, well, but that, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's just like, you know, like, didn't quite make the point much as hard as I wanted to, but I got another 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunities to say the same thing. All right, thank you.
give Charlie.
Thank y'all again, fellas.
I did.
Good.
Okay. See you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, gosh.
Where'd Doug go?
All right, we got everybody back. Who are we missing?
Doug?
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 There's Doug.
There he is.
We apologize to everyone. Apologize.
Sit down. Yeah, I know. Where's my brick at?
All right, we'll get back to the meeting here. John, I would like to give direction to you and the staff. Mr. Tank, let's please do haste, get the safety issues fixed at Charleston Park. If you need to bring us back a budget amendment for what's required to get this, again, we're looking at the safety issues. And we're not trying to fix everything, but we need to get the safety issues done. So if we could please get that done, do haste. Board, any last comments on that? All right. With that, it's my privilege to invite Mr. Walsh up to the microphone. You can use that one, sir, absolutely.
Well, you've received your package. My committee has put together the solicitation that we would like to go out, along with an advertisement. We would like to go in the paper. And we would like to do that immediately with your approval. So you have the solicitation and the ad. And I'm here to answer your question.
All right, board members, any questions for Mr. Walsh concerning the solicitation for property? Yes, Ms.
No, I
Patton.
think it's a great idea, and the sooner the better. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any further? All right, let's see here. So I'd take a motion to authorize the EOC Public Safety Building Site Selection Committee and staff to proceed with publishing the packet and newspaper ad for property solicitation. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Walsh, please proceed. That was excellent. That was excellent.
Yay.
But we did see Rebecca go. Keep it short. All right, very good. And just for everybody's information, we will be giving Senator Lazara an update on where we are on the EOC and EOC funds here this week, or early of next week, when John can get that out. All right, so Budget Ordinance Amendment 2024-8, Ms. Sonia.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So we have two requests here. One is for the fire department, and one you already had approved back on February 27th. So I'll just do them separate, and then you just yay or nay, I
So
guess.
what did we approve on 427?
That is the $15,000 from fund balance to purchase the shade structures for
So
the
this
splash
is just
pad.
the actual ordinance.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So I'd have to amend that. But I can't amend that until you approve. There's two budget amendments. One's the actual budget ordinance, and then the other one's the ordinance amendment for the project.
Okay, so you guide us through this.
So the first one is going to be the fire department. Additional funding is needed to complete the current fiscal year 23-24 due to uncontrollable emergent apparatus repairs of $7,025, building repairs of $1,435, and increased volunteer and part-time personnel involvement, longevity and FICA, $26,500. And accepted and approved funding for the fiscal year AFG grant resolution 2023 R6. So you all had approved, went back in, I can't remember when, but anyway, in the beginning of time, you all approved the resolution to increase the grant funding, because back when they actually had submitted it, it was for like $60,000, but then due to the additional cost of the, and what was it again? Yep. So anyway, we never did that budget amendment, so
Okay.
here it is. And so what we're doing is we're requesting $14,911 to be appropriated for fund balance for this purpose. Now, as I broke it out here, the $14,911 is appropriated from fund balance, and then you have the Onslow County EMS lease payments that came in of $21,600 and fire grants of $2,000. So you have some grants and you have some lease payments that came in. So we're only needing $14,911 appropriated from fund balance. And then, of course, then we have the ARP fund. We need to increase that by the 15 so Anna can purchase those shade structures. Now, when we get to the budget meetings, we'll go through the ARP fund, and then if there's any money left over, you can certainly use it for whatever you need or what have you, or it can go towards this and we can reimburse either way. But when we get to the budget meetings, I'll take it there.
Okay.
So the motion is to approve Budget Ordinance Amendment 2024-8.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve Budget Ordinance Amendment 2024-8?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Any further questions or discussions for Ms. Sonia? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, so this here is the ordinance amendment to the ARP fund, and I have to be very specific, so that's why you have such a lengthy ordinance here, because I have to specifically put it in certain categories. So this, what you're doing here is you're just going to approve the $15,000 into that fund.
Okay. So you need a motion to approve ordinance
Yeah.
amendment number 3 to the grant project ordinance budget for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. Motion to approve. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any questions or further discussion for Ms. Sonia? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, very good. And now we continue with Ms. Sonia as to our monthly financial report.
Yes, sir. All right, so I will be reporting your the monthly financial report as of February 29th, 2024. So for our general fund, with encumbrances included, your excess of revenues over expenditures were $1,130,182. This is your general fund, which is your actual, and your total excess of revenues over expenditures were $1,194,112. And then here is our expenditures by department as of February 29th, And overall, the total expenditures are at 57.11% of budget, which is 9.5% less than the monthly projected of 66.6. And again, you'll see, I hate to point it out all the time, sorry, Raz, but the legal fees, we're going to come back. We've already stated that. We'll be coming back for a budget amendment for legal fees.
Okay, I thought Raz was just working for dinners at
No,
Saltwater.
I know, no, of course. I just have to let y'all know.
Okay, so if I'm, oh, gotta watch you two, I'll tell you what. Miss Kathy, do we need to have Miss Kathy come sit over here? I just want to make sure for clarity, as I'm reading this, we're 75% through the year.
No, 66.
We're 66.
66.6.
Okay. And so for most everything, we're either below or on target, but we do have a couple we're ahead. Festivals, I think we're done with festivals, so that should be.
We have one more. We have the Arts by the Sea.
Arts by the Sea, okay.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm asking is, do you expect any more budget amendments for any of these items?
For legal to this point, but I don't know. I mean, it's just going to depend.
Other than legal?
I don't foresee it, but.
Okay, I mean, it's possible, I'm not saying it's not possible, just.
Right.
What do you see anything that we're aware of that might be coming down the pipe other than legal?
I don't think so. Well, y'all just did the 22,000. That's not in there. And then the 9,000. Right. So you just, last meeting, y'all,
Okay,
we discussed the 9,000 and then the 22,000 something.
okay, very good.
So that'll be probably 31%. Okay. So then here is our Stormwater Enterprise Fund, and our total excess of revenues over expenditures were $68,659. Our solid waste fund with encumbrances included, total excess of revenues over expenditures were $32,376. And then here's our summary of town's existing debt and their current loan balances as of February 29th. I'll be adding one more next month because we're doing the debt service for the cab tractor that y'all had approved and the dump truck.
And what are you seeing as interest rates on these new loans that we're doing?
Well, the one
for the town?
The one we just did was 4.82%.
So we've seen even for the municipalities, we're seeing the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then here is our current cash and investments accounts and their current balances as of February 29th. And then here is our grant update, all the grants that we have. Nope, but it will. So that 15,000 will go up. Mm-hmm. I can't do it until it's approved. Any questions?
All right, board members, questions for Ms. Sonia? Sure.
I was just wondering, didn't we get another grant for $3 million to go on top of that $6 million, or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, so we should have 9 million from the state right now, I believe.
The 3 million's not here yet.
Okay.
It's in the process.
So that's why it's not showing
Yep,
up, right?
that's in the process.
Okay. Pat, anything? Good? All right, Doug, you good? All right, very good. Thank you so much, Sonia. All right, Miss Elisa, future agenda items.
Good evening. I do not have any changes to the memo that was provided to you. No additions or subtractions have been made. I did want to point out, in May, there will be 2 special use permits coming. This upcoming type of board meeting, has a a lot to go on during those meetings. And Andrea has offered for any board member that would like a refresher on the process with special use permits that they could come in and have a one-on-one with her. She wanted me to send that out there for board members interested.
Yeah, and Raz, I think it would be important for you to do a mock before we actually get to that. Okay. And I don't know if it's possible, or if dates work or not, but, I don't know, it may be you that's doing it, that's doing a training down at Cedar Point? Is that you that's doing that training? Or is that already passed? Okay. Well, I was going to say, I think Cedar Point is doing a quasi judicial training. So I don't know if their dates fit for the board up here or if we just need to do it for ourselves, but that would be an option as well if it fits for what the board needs. But I would definitely encourage, and Raz, if it needs to be you, if you feel more comfortable that it's you doing the training, I'm fine with that too. Okay. Okay. So what do you need to be able to do that? You need dates from these guys, or you want to send out some possible dates?
Yeah, find out some possible dates that Raz has available
Okay.
and just whittle them down from there.
All right, perfect. All right, other future agenda items, folks? Got quite a list here. So Onslow soil and water presentation, can we follow up with, see if Mr., I believe is it Rob? I'm getting his name mixed. Rob. If Mr. Rob would still like to do that? That's been on here a while.
I did reach out and I didn't hear anything back, so it's kind of been silent with him. I'll try again.
Okay. Go ahead, Doug.
Since he made that offer to come out and brief us on the soil water issues and stuff like that, and especially on rain harvesting and things that'll help with some of our storm water stuff, he's gotten heavily involved with the Boy Scouts of America. So keep that in mind when you give him a call. If you need to grease the skids, I can give him a call at a time. Just tell me when you plan to call him and stuff like that, and I can reach out to him beforehand and tell him who you are and why you're calling. Okay?
Righty.
I'm just going through these guys, just trying to, sidewalk connection with the One Harbor sidewalks. Did we make progress on that, John? Okay. And this really bothers me, but I guess I'm glad it's on here because I really feel like the board needs to step up on this. Super Street, we keep hearing it's dead, then we hear it's alive. And we need to know where that is because we need to make a recommendation as a board on that and a resolution. And it is, at least in my opinion, we need to fight that, at least at the way it's currently been prescribed.
Andrea has information on that.
State Transportation Improvement Program was recommended through the Jacksonville Jumpo organization. And because we brought up the historic aspect of the town and the medians having a negative impact on the historic district, they changed the description of our project. It's still highly ranked, but it is by intersection by intersection.
Okay.
So it's more of an intersection improvement that goes from Belgrave Swansboro to the bridge for each intersection. And that's how it's in the State Transportation Improvement Program process. So the medians are not in our description.
So they've taken that out of it?
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
worked very hard. Larry and I both worked very hard to accomplish that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And so moratorium, I know Jeff wants to discuss that. So I don't know when you have that on here, but we probably should just get that on the table and either get it off the table or get it on the table. All right. Anybody else on future agenda items? I just want to make sure we're not, because some of these are getting stale. So I would just encourage that we try to get some of these done, get them on the agenda, and so we can get them off of, your list is growing, so we need to get something off this list, some of these things off the list. Is the basketball team on here?
They're on there, as well as the volleyball teams, but we do not have dates
Okay.
arranged for their presence at meetings yet.
Okay. All right, very good. Board members, anything else, future agenda, going once, going twice? All right, thank you, Miss Elisa. Items, so we have no items moved from consent. Any public comment? I believe Major, you wanted to speak?
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen.
You're gonna have to lift up that microphone. Yeah, you might want to sit down in a chair, man, so we.
Okay.
And Major, please state your name and address.
Sure, Matthew Crane.
And I'm gonna make a suggestion, you do with it how you want, but you may want to say that you're speaking on behalf of yourself and not on behalf of the rec board, since you are a member of the rec board now.
Well, thank you for that clarification. So yes, Matthew Crane, I live at 309 Baffle Court. I am speaking on behalf of myself. I've spoke here a couple of times on one particular topic. And so I had some information that I wanted to present for Trevor. It wasn't the appropriate time, but I wanted to go ahead and take a moment just to clarify a few things. I was hoping he was here, but when you're at that caliber as a student athlete, you've got a long distance to get him back in the water before he dries out. So to put things into perspective of what we were able to recognize tonight, Trevor's a sophomore in high school, and he's 9 seconds away from a national record. Okay, he's 8 seconds away in his 100-yard breaststroke, just a little over 8 seconds. So if he can shave off 8 seconds, he could be competing at the national level, right? So it's quite an honor to be able to recognize a student athlete, a sophomore in high school at that level. But that's what we talk about when we talk about swimming. And that's why I've been very passionate about the opportunity to potentially talk about future development and expansion and opportunities and programs for the town of Swansboro. So to keep it short, all I want to say is when we get the opportunity to present a plan, or if there's anybody that wants to support and develop a plan to bring a pool to Swansboro, we could attract more national level, national capable athletes, and we can improve the quality of the programs that we currently can't even offer right now, some of which we can't offer in our town. So tonight's been a very interesting discussion. It's been very engaging. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of myself and my dream, but I will speak on behalf of over 100 respondents to the town's survey that they put out. And if you look all the way back to the year of 2008, the city of Swansboro, the people in Swansboro have been asking for a swimming pool since 2008. It's been documented in previous plans. And if you look at the numbers accurately in the master plan that was just published, the numbers still indicate that a pool in the town of Swansboro is the #1 most requested facility. All right, so tonight we got to see what is capable if you're a competitive swimmer. But a pool provides more than just competition. It's rehabilitation, it's therapy, it's introduction for young children and families. You're never too old to learn how to swim. I promise if you don't know how to swim, I'd be more than happy to teach you. You can do it. And from a safety standpoint, being a coastal community, I think it's absolutely paramount that we actually put our heads together and come up with a sustainable plan to improve the programs in the town of Swansboro. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Elisa, I believe the swimming pool is on the future agenda. Could we get Anna primed to bring that and at least discuss where it ended up in the surveys and what
options are and what thoughts are, and perhaps even the rec board would want to discuss it. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, any other public comment? The mayor of the villages is here. Would you like to speak? No. Okay. All right, anybody else? All right, we'll close public comment. Manager's comments, John?
I just got one thing to add or comment, the message to pass on. I got a message today from Onwassa. They're going to be in the downtown area tonight, cammering sewer system with their crew. So if you get any calls or see crews working in our manholes, they're going to be with the camera looking for I&I or inflow and infiltration into our system. So it's a good thing, but I think they want to do it while there's low flow and low traffic.
All right, any questions for the town manager? All right, board comments, Miss Pat?
I'm glad we had so many people show up today. It was exciting. And they have a swimmer. I was telling the swim coach, I wish they had it when my son was in school in 2003. He graduated because he was a swimmer. Have you talked to the schools at all about pools, putting pools in? Okay. Does the school system have an interest in considering that? Thank you. And thanks for the staff for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Doug?
Yeah, Matt, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate that. I have a couple ideas, but I think we can table those for a workshop later on. I want to advance this discussion even further. And we've got a heck of a guy going to the county board pretty soon that can speak for us there as well. So that's even another lever we get to pull in the future. I want to thank the staff for putting together a fantastic agenda tonight and the hard work that went into that. And everybody for showing up tonight to recognize that young man. To be a sophomore and state champion is a special, special thing. I can only speak from my experience. I hit the state level down in Florida for wrestling when I was a senior. And I struggled mightily and stuff like that, but came away a winner. But to do it as a sophomore, I couldn't even imagine that happening. That's a special human being right there. I can imagine the amount of time and sacrifice that he put to better himself. That's it.
Thank you, Doug. Joe?
I just like to say again, the number of people we had here today or tonight, this kind of shows that a lot of people were anticipating and expecting us to do our job, and I'm really glad that we were able to do our job in public for them tonight, and their response kind of lent to that. I'd like to thank the staff, everybody that worked on this, that's going to work on this. Tank, I know your people are going to be up to your ears in it, so look forward to talking to you if need be, and thanks everybody for showing up.
Yeah, just again, thank you to everybody. I want to thank, I'm going to talk in acronyms because I got appointed to this board, JUMPO, and I want to thank the EOC PSB committee for all they're doing. So they have more acronyms of that committee with the JUMPO. Thanks to Matt for your focus on the pool. Where do they train at now? To the gym over there. So a few months ago, and I don't know how interested they were, I talked with Billy Sewell with the YMCA in Jacksonville. They're really starting to take, I know they got their hands full right now, and he said it would be several years before they would even think about coming down this way, but I asked him if they would ever be of interest, and he kind of, you probably know better than I do, but he kind of alluded to the fact it would be a number of years, but there might be some interest, and maybe YMCA could be a good partner.
That's not good. All right, I got several items, so y'all bear with me. I got 30 minutes, and it's not 8 o'clock yet, so. All right, one, I know as we're going into the budget cycle, John, I'm gonna make a suggestion, and the board can nod yes or no on this, but, with so much going on and with, well, I'm gonna start with this. I believe that I may have misunderstood, one of the board members when we were talking about the budget and whether we're targeting net zero or whether we're actually targeting a tax cut. And so I think I misunderstood that. And so I think you actually, had at least two people that wanted a tax cut. And so do you guys, we got to be careful. We don't want to yo-yo the staff around. So are you guys wanting to target net zero, or are you guys wanting to target a tax cut? So these guys know exactly what they're going after.
Tax cut for me.
Yeah, I'd entertain a tax cut also.
Tax cut.
Okay. At net zero. So, I think that's pretty clear from the board what we would ask your target to be there. And so with that, I'm going to make a suggestion, John, because, well, I'm just going to say it, we probably need to freeze hiring unless it's for critical staff, such as police, fire, inspector, that kind of stuff. I think anything else we need to at least take a very serious look at before we fill any additional slots. I don't know how many more we have open, but I'll make that suggestion. And again, Charleston Park, you good, John? Okay. Charleston Park, again, let's please get the safety issues fixed ASAP on that. When do you guys foresee our next budget meeting? So you feel like we're a month out, 6 weeks out? So the end of April, we'll have our next meeting, next budget workshop? Okay, all right. So do you want to put a date in place, or do you want to come back to us with a date? Okay, very good. All right. Another concern I've got is minutes. I think we got minutes from September, and so John, if just put those considerations out to you again, whether we can use additional staff, whether we need to contract somebody out. I think the board was fairly unanimous, whatever we need to do to try to get our minutes caught up. Skate park, Raz, did you hear back from the guys in Wilmington on the skate park?
I received an email this afternoon around 4 o'clock from the attorney for the town in the two lawsuits. Things are sort of coming to a head. He's got some motions to dismiss that has prompted some conversation about settling some of the claims, the punitive damages claims in the action. I didn't have time to discuss this further with Clay, but things are happening, and I would expect at the next board meeting we will have some updated information to report to you, and perhaps some decisions to be made.
Okay, so we're a month to 2 months at least away from being able to even consider anything with the current skate park.
That's probably reasonable.
Okay.
You know, that is a separate issue technically, but working on both fronts, getting the skate park opened is something that could move ahead of the motions being heard and possible settlements being.
But lawyers from all parties have to release it, right?
That's right. Actually, the town's attorney is not particularly concerned from the standpoint of liability. The strongest objection came from the attorney for the plaintiffs, and it was related to not tainting evidence, just having the evidence, and that's a little hard to understand considering the timeline of all these goings on, but that's what has been reported to me.
Okay.
But we'll continue to work on that, and I will have a conversation with council next week, and that's something I'll bring up with them, and see if we can push a lot harder on that front as well.
Okay, very good. All right, and I want to agree with my commissioners in thanking the staff. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Ms. Sonia. I'm going to say 2 cents. And then, so staff, with that, just thank you for your hard work. Tonight went very well, and there was a lot of work that went behind that. Andrea, you were on fire tonight. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm glad. Anyway, I'll stop there, but well done. But just all the staff, you guys, there's a lot going on, and you guys are really cranking it out, so we do appreciate it. Mr. Walsh, I give you a hard time, but thank you for really getting some energy behind our public safety building and getting that out to the public and making progress. We appreciate what you're doing. I know we give you a headache because it's government, and sometimes we're holding you back when you're ready to go, but we appreciate that you're fighting for us. We do appreciate that energy.
I don't all count. You're certainly welcome.
Be prepared for special meetings.
Yeah.
Keep up with it.
All right, very nice. And commissioners, I want to thank you guys as well. Getting Charleston Park done, I think, was the right thing to do, and just appreciate y'all stepping forward on getting Charleston Park done and the rest of the stuff that we've been working on over the last 3 months. You guys are doing a fantastic job for being in these seats for such a short time. So really, really appreciate what you guys are doing. And with that, unless the manager or the clerk has something, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Can I say one more?
No, sir, you're
know
here.
I love to, you know I love to.
All right, yes. Okay. Bill,
One
you
last thing.
you get a commissioner's moment.
I agree. But I did forget, I got so excited. And in the Love Fest, I want to call out the fire department. My wife takes, and myself take our granddaughter to the library time every week, and they had the fire truck out there today, and it was an amazing experience for our grandchild. She said that she's an educator, so she said that the guy that did the presentation should be a teacher. He just did great with the kids, and it's just much appreciated.
Well said, Bill. All right, with that, before Bill has something else, motion to adjourn. Somebody say second.
Second. My last name's Davis.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
God bless everybody.
All right, amen. You think?
All right. Wow. If I don't see you, have a good Easter. If I don't talk to you,
Well done.
hopefully, happy Easter.
That's why I was ready for it. Because before we did, no one was asking.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't send it.
Yeah.
Start plugging it in.
We drove separate vehicles anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you, you too.
House out.
Yes.
Yeah.
but, you know, it's finding
Yeah. We've done that with
and
you.
everything else. I know you are. I know.
That's it.
Thank you, you too.
I've already called on Wausau. I can follow up on that. Yeah. That's a privilege to sign that one. All right, I'm not messing, Lovejoy, right? Okay. This is our. Okay. Y'all live in Charleston.